In this episode of Akram's Ideas, I'm sharing with you what's on my sewing table, so stay tuned! Hello and welcome. I'm Akram Tagaby-Barrett, and you're watching Akram's Ideas, bringing creative and crazy ideas to life. It is time once again for another episode of On the Sewing Table. To see more episodes like this, be sure to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to get notified of new videos, where I share with you my sewing plans for the upcoming season. And of course, the next season on the calendar is winter. Now, winter is a very busy time of the year because December I spend most of my sewing time making gifts for others. And while every year I tell myself that I'm actually going to start those projects in like June or July, where I have a lot of free time on my hands, it never actually happens. So unfortunately, my December will be mostly sewing up projects for gifts that will be given out mainly to my sisters and friends and things like that. And that means it'll be mostly bags. I'm going to be making several purses. I hope to make a necessary clutch wallet or two. I don't want to get into too many details because my sisters, on the rare chance that they watch one of my videos, I don't want to share what they may or may not get from me. So with that in the mix, the actual projects that I have for winter will really, save for one, will really be January, February makes. Real quick, before we get started in the projects that I have planned, I just wanted to let you know what I'm wearing. I am actually wearing my latest Freya top, which is from the Tilly and the Buttons book Stitch. And I made this along with a wrap skirt. It's part of my autumn plans. The wrap skirt was anyways. I made the top to go with it. And this will actually be discussed in my autumn makes video, which will be coming out either next week or the week after. There's a few more hemming that I need to do on a couple of projects that I've left to the last minute, so I want to get those out. But in case anybody's wondering, this is my lovely pumpkin-y colored Freya top, which I am in love with and happen to match one of my vintage hats perfectly, so I'm very happy with that. So like I said, I'll talk more about this in my autumn makes coming up in a week or two, but for now, let's get into the sewing plans for winter. Alright, the first winter sewing project that I have planned is the dress that I'm making for the Little Red Dress project. And if you're on the Sew-osphere on the internet, you've probably already heard of this challenge. It's being hosted by Renata from the Twilight Stitcher and Rosabella from Sewn. And basically the idea is that you simply make a red dress for the holiday party season. And you are supposed to make the dress and show it off, I believe, before December 8th. So I'm actually going to hopefully start this next weekend and have it done, I'm hoping. And I've been telling people that I'm going to be using a red satin. But now that I've actually pulled out my fabric that I know that I'm going to be using for this project, I think it's more of a heavy taffeta than it is a satin. It's got way more structure to it and everything, and it's actually a matte color more than a shiny color like I thought it was because it was folded over. But I have like 7 yards of this red taffeta, and I know exactly what I'm making. I'm not going to say much more than that because I want to keep it a surprise, but I am going to be making the dress out of this. It's not going to be an illustrious dress or of any means. It's going to be, well, it's going to be a party dress, but nothing super, super fancy. Granted, it will be made in this very, very red taffeta. So that is the first project. I'm just going to kind of drape the fabric here so we can look at it in all its glory. Such lovely fabric. The dress that I want to make does ask for a lining, and looking at this, it's a little rough on the inside, so I might actually use some red lining fabric that I have for the inside of it, but I feel like this is actually a really good fit for the dress that I'm planning because I believe it has pleats or gathers. I might turn it into pleats simply because of the structure of this fabric. But that is project number 1. The next item on my list of sewing plans, the big problem I have during winter is that I don't have a lot of winter makes. So I don't wear a lot of me-made during winter, and I want to kind of change that. I do have a couple of sweaters, tops and stuff that I made, but nothing that is a little bit more dressy to wear to the office. So I want to change that by making a winter dress. And in my stash, I have this fabric here, which is a medium weight stretch fabric. It has sort of a waffle texture on it. It is a pinky maroon color, and it just so happens I was going online on Instagram, as one does, looking at some patterns that I own and seeing them made up, and I actually didn't even realize it, but this is almost the same color as one of Tilly and the Buttons' Francois dresses that she actually has on her website, on her Instagram, and she paired it with sort of this black polka dot collar and everything. And I have this Francois dress, I just haven't made it. And I thought, you know, this is almost identical to the one she wore in that photograph. I think I will want to make one of those in a long sleeve version that I could wear for winter. And of course, just like with Tilly's version, I plan to use some black accent. So I've got some black ribbing here. I think it might be nice to use for the collar. If I don't use this black ribbing, I also have some just matte jersey that doesn't have a ribbing on it. It may work out better, but sort of make a sort of a pointed collar, and then maybe even do cuffs in the black as well. Some sort of nice look to it. I'm not sure if I'll do the little button placket thing on the Francois. I'm always worried that that's going to give more a focus on your midsection, and I'm not sure I want that. I'm debating whether I want sleeves on it or not, because I could just make it more of a jumper dress, but then that means I have to have a turtleneck or some sort of blouse to go underneath it. So I'm actually fairly certain that I'm going to add sleeves to the Francois. I'm going to add long sleeves, and then, like I said, maybe black cuffs to it just to tie into the black on the collar, and then wear it with like black tights, black boots. I think it'll be really nice. Like I said, I don't have a lot of winter dresses that I've made myself. Really, I don't have a lot of winter dresses at all. I tend to end up just wearing a lot of jeans and sweaters, and having to layer up when I go to the office, so it just seems a little silly. So this is my sailfish make that I'm going to be making. I'm hoping to get it done by the end of December, but if not, just sometime in January. If you watched my recent fabric haul video, you may recall that I shared with you this fabric here, which is a jersey fabric that is a creamy color. And it has these little, almost, holes in it, like, it's not transparent per se, it's a little thin, but it does have these little holes in it, and it just gives it sort of this interesting texture. But it's this really pretty peachy color. I think it's beautiful, and in the video I was debating what I'd make with it, but I started thinking about a toaster sweater, and that has been in my mind ever since I recorded that video. So I've had this sitting out for the cooler months to make a toaster sweater. I have quite a bit here, so I don't know. If I have enough, I might try and make like the BB skirt, I think it is, from the Tilly and the Buttons stretch book, which is just a pencil skirt in jersey to go with the toaster sweater. But more importantly, I'm going to make the toaster sweater. I am a little concerned because the fabric is not very wide. So I might end up using it all, I don't know. But it is going to be a toaster sweater, and I'm super excited about that. And while I was putting away fabrics and everything and had my head determined in making a toaster sweater out of this, I found a few more fabrics in my stash. This a lovely fabric here, which is another jersey. It's sort of a tan fabric. I believe this was in my February fabric haul video that I did a while back. February, well, it was a fabric haul that I did in February, but I think I released it in June. I can't remember. Sometime earlier this year. Anyways, this is a jersey fabric that has this interesting texture. It's tan, and it has these little sort of baubles of it in white, so it's got this interesting texture, and I think this would look really nice as another toaster sweater. And as it so happens, I have some ribbing in a nice tan color that offsets it. So I think what I'll do is I'll make the main body and the sleeves in the nice jersey fabric, and I'll use the ribbing for the collar, the cuffs, and the band along the bottom. I am going to do, I guess, version A on both toaster sweaters, which is the big roll neck and the one that has the band going across there and the straight hem. So those are the two toaster sweaters that I'm going to make. I really like the toaster sweater. I've worn my toaster sweaters all the time, and I pulled them out just the other day to wear some more. I get a lot of wear out of them. I do have some other sweater patterns that I've been meaning to make, but since I know how to make the toaster sweater, I've made it before, I feel like it's a fairly quick make. These are on my plans. If I have time, I might attempt making an Astoria sweater, which has been on my list for quite a while. I've had the pattern, I've just never gotten around to it. So that is something that may be possible, but for right now, I know I'm making two toaster sweaters this winter. Alright, last but not least, one thing that I really wanted to make last winter was the Stella hoodie sweatpants set from the Tilly and the Buttons stretch book. But I never got around to it because by the time I got the book and had time, it was already going into spring. So I know I want to make one of those this winter. And I have 5 yards of this jersey that has sort of like this tie-dye and dots. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like my favorite fabric, but there are 5 yards of it. And I have not made the Stella hoodie slash sweatpants yet. And I wanted something that I was not too horribly attached to, but something that I knew I would wear. And so this is something that I know I'd wear. I feel like it's got a very 80s look and feel to it. With the colors and everything. I actually thought that the fabric was way thicker than it is because it was rolled on top of each other. But it's actually fairly lightweight jersey, which I don't know if that's good or bad. Because it's lightweight, it's not going to be horribly warm in the winter, but that could mean that I could wear it on into the spring. I could wear it with a little tank top underneath in the winter to just give it some more warmth. But I do plan to make the Stella hoodie and sweatpants. And I might actually have a little bit more after that as well. I don't know on the hoodie part if I will line the hood with the same fabric or if I'll try to do some accents. I think I have some peachy colors, and I know I have several scraps of teal fabric that I could use for the inside of the hoodie. I'd love to hear in the comments below if you have any suggestions for some accent colors, if I should do it all in the same or if I should line the hoodie in something different, picking out one of the colors from inside here. But I am very excited about that. I think that'll be a fun make. It's just something that I wanted to make so that I wear around the house when I come home, when I'm exercising in the morning. I think it'll be a fun make. And who doesn't love a hoodie wearing around the house? Alright, so those are my sewing plans for the winter month. I know it doesn't really feel like a whole lot. I guess it's like 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. But like I said, December I'm going to be sewing presents all month long. And in January, while I have some time to sew, pretty much mid-January is when the semester starts, and then in February I'll be ramping up the classes, and so I won't have a lot of sewing time. And I, at some point, have to take my sewing machines in to get serviced. They have not been cleaned since the 5 years that I've had, or 6 years that I've had my main sewing machine. I've never taken it in to be serviced, and it's starting to show. It just seems like it needs to be serviced, and then my other machines I might as well take it in at the same time, which means I'll probably be without a sewing machine for a given amount of time. So I wanted to keep my project list pretty low. That doesn't mean that I won't be making more items if the opportunity arises, but these are the ones that I know and set in stone, supposedly. Don't hold me to that. But like I said, the first one is the red dress project, and I'm hoping to get that one done before the deadline in the next 2 weeks. I'll put in the description below all the details on that challenge if you're interested in joining in. All the links to all the patterns that I mentioned in this episode will also be in the description. And again, if you have any ideas, thoughts, or comments about any of the projects that I have on my list, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.
Pretty much filled with gift presents. It's satin at all. It's much thicker than satin. It's like a taffeta or something.